There's one game in the World Cup that both teams actively do not want to play in. In some ways, it's the losers' final, the bronze medal game. Saturday in Miami, France and England, two teams that were 90 minutes away from playing for the actual trophy, have to show up, shake hands, and play a game that exists mostly so FIFA can sell one more afternoon of tickets. Except for a couple of these guys, there might just be slightly more motivation than for the rest of the teams. 8 goals, that's been Kylian Mbappe's World Cup so far. It's also Lionel Messi's. They're tied at the top of the Golden Boot race, separated only by assists, and they played 22 hours apart from each other this weekend. Mbappe goes first. Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham can also make a push for the Golden Boot with a hat-trick, but Mbappe has the best chance. That's the frame for today's third-place game between France and England, a fixture both countries would rather skip that neither federation gets to skip. Let's break down both the semifinal losses, what actually failed, and what to watch in Miami. France's 2-0 loss to Spain gets worse the more you look at it. 3 shots on target across 90-plus minutes, 2 of them in stoppage time after the game was decided. That's not a sign of a team that was close to getting over the line but was just off it on the day. That's a team that was poorly structured. The failure started in the midfield. Chouameni and Rabiot couldn't establish a platform, and Spain always had the numerical advantage. Rodri dictating the tempo, Fabian Ruiz playing out of the pressure, and Deni Olmo finding the pockets between France's line that forced their midfield to defend facing their goal most of the time. 3 is better than 2. When your midfield spends the night turned around, your forwards become spectators. That's what happened to Mbappe. Spain crowded him in transition, never let him get isolated one-on-one, and the one time he did break through, Cucurella produced a perfectly timed tackle inside the box. The goals were symptomatic too. The first came from a Luca Digne mistake that Lamine Yamal converted into a penalty, an individual error under sustained pressure, which is what sustained pressure is designed to produce. The second goal was a clean right side move finished by Pedro Porro. France didn't lose a close one, they were out-structured for 90 minutes. England's loss was nothing like France's, which might make this matchup interesting. England largely executed their game plan. The first half hour was a stalemate by design. Neither side registered a shot for the first 30 minutes. This is the first time that's happened in a World Cup since 1966. Then England struck. Morgan Rogers delivered from wide, Anthony Gordon finished, and England in a World Cup semifinal 1-0 up with under 10 minutes to play. What failed was the game management at the death. Against the one team on earth you cannot give a second life. Enzo Fernandez equalized from 20 yards in the 85th minute from a Messi box-in pass, and in the 92nd minute, Messi, who had hardly put a foot wrong after the England goal, delivered the cross that Lautaro Martinez headed in. It was as if the ball was literally magnetized and somehow attracted to Lautaro's head. It's one of the most beautiful crosses I've seen in a long time. 2 moments, 7 minutes, and England's tournament was over. So France arrives with a structural question, and England arrives with a psychological one. France's system got dismantled, England's held up for 84 minutes and then cracked under the weight of the occasion. Very different wounds, and they'll produce very different team selections Saturday. What makes this matchup interesting is that goals in third-place matches count towards the Golden Boot, so that could turn Saturday into a live competitive event. Messi and Mbappe are level on 8 goals. Messi leads on the assist tiebreaker, 4-3. Kane and Bellingham sit on 6, alive in theory but needing a multi-goal game. The sequencing is the fascinating part. Mbappe plays Saturday against a rotated England defense in a historically open fixture, and every goal he scores sets a number Messi has to match on Sunday in a World Cup final against the best defensive structure in the tournament. Deschamps has already confirmed Mbappe is motivated and will play, and there's a piece of history available. No player has ever won a Golden Boot at 2 World Cups. Mbappe won it in 2022. This is his second chance. Third place lineups are honest a way that group stage lineups never are. There's no seeding to protect, so what a manager does here reveals what he actually values. France are without Saliba, whose back issues ended his tournament, and backup keeper Samba. For England, Reece James is doubtful. Beyond that, expect meaningful rotations on both sides. But watch where it lands. If Deschamps keeps his spine intact around Mbappe, that's a statement about finishing the tournament with authority, heading into 2030 qualifying cycles. If Tuchel starts the younger tier, the Rodgers and Gordon generation that produced England's only goal against Argentina, that's a build decision, effectively the first game of their next cycle. The historical pattern favors entertainment. Third place games skew high scoring because rotation loosens defensive organization, and nobody protects a result that doesn't matter. Opta simulation gives France a win inside 90 minutes at just over 50%, which tracks deeper squad and the one player on the pitch with the concrete reason to go full throttle. And he's the best player on the pitch. The shape of the game follows from the wounds. France should control the ball. Their midfield problem was specific to Spain's pressing structure, and England won't replicate it, especially rotated. England's most realistic path is transition. Gordon's space against a reshuffled French back line, missing Saliba is their clearest advantage. And it's how they scored in the semifinal. The expectation here is a fairly open game. If France can keep it open and their combinations work well, they can very well win it. Mbappe gets the touches and the freedom to chase the record. If England can stay compact and control the game, they can take it. Either way, watch the Mbappe counter tick because it sets the terms for Sunday. Sunday's the real one, Spain and Argentina. 2 footballing ideologies, 500 years of history shared, and a golden boot race that Messi will be pushing for. Video on that next. Subscribe so you don't miss.